Ooh,
Oh,
man,
that's
yellow
been,
cabs have been
that's
around.
been.
I know it was a checkered
Yeah,
cabs.
checker. Yeah, they
So
were
was
yellow
that
also.
one
Too.
around from that time?
Oh, yeah.
Checkers were around. Ooh, that even longer.
When I,
Checkers
ca-
were
when I
around in the
came here in
60s, I think.
'47, that they
Oh, yeah,
were
oh,
already
yeah.
Oh,
here.
it was
definitely
from
checkers.
then.
Yeah, but in the 70s at that time, the checkers had kind of started to die out a little bit. But the checker was, it was actually a certain body style cab. It was like
Yeah.
big and square and had the big back seat back there and so on and so on. You didn't see many of those around.
So
at
was
all
it
then.
metered fare from then?
They were metered, yeah.
Okay.
They were metered, yeah.
So like these cabs that you could wave down and you pay them and they weren't metered fares. How much would they cost then? How much like for a flat rate fare? How much was that?
Well, actually, they weren't supposed to. Those guys weren't really supposed to be stopping because the yellow cabs had medallions, which they paid thousands of dollars for, which gave them the right to stop and pick up. The private cars were supposed to be dispatched from a location from a cab stand.
Also, the private cars, those were metered fares also.
They weren't metered. No,
So-
they didn't have meters.
So that's what I'm asking. Like,
Yeah.
how much was the fare then?
It was so
Any you
cheap.
remember?
It's according to where you wanted to go. Like, say for example, if I wanted to go from, if anybody knows the area from Corona to Flushing, $75, $1.25.
$75 or cents?
I'm sorry, cents. I'm sorry,
Oh,
75 cents, $1,
cents.
$1.25.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were relatively cheap.
They were reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable.
I know.
When the
'cause
gas started going up, naturally they had to pass the cost on because they had to make a living also. Yeah, so interesting times, though. Really
Yeah.
interesting times.
when I first came here, we only had the one airport,
That was
Yeah, which was
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia. Yeah, right.
a little bitty thing. It was just one building.
Yeah. You talking about that?
So that was the Marine Terminal, which
Marine
is now
Terminal,
Terminal
yeah.
A.
Yeah.
So have you ever flown out of that terminal?
Yes. I went to St. Croix.
Or
That's-
from that terminal?
That's how I went down to St. Croix.
Yeah, because it's still there now, but it's only Spirit flying out of there.
The same thing with Kennedy.
Mhm.
Kennedy only had one when they came back from St. Croix in the 50s. They only had one building, and it was a galvanized building.
And what was the name of that airport at that time? Come on, you got that.
Wasn't Kennedy. It was a big funny note.
Do you remember the name of it?
No?
No.
Idlewild.
That's it. Yes,
Idlewild
yes, I
Airport,
forgot it.
yeah.
Yes, it
That's
wasn't
what
Kennedy.
it was when I came to New York.
After Kennedy's death and whatnot.
Oh,
that's
then
when
they
Yeah.
named it after him.
Right.
they
Interesting.
give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we see what they're doing to it.
What, Kennedy? You mean as far as building expanding?
Yes,
Oh, forget about it. Did you see what they did to LaGuardia?
I know.
Wow. how
Because
they
I used to
expanded that
walk down
airport,
there
yeah.
when I was walking every day. Sometimes I take a walk, go down and look around. But now even the road to get into Kennedy, they're working on that too.
Yes, yeah. Your husband, Henry Stevens, he passed in 2023, right? How is life now?
For me,
For you?
Yeah. How do you feel? How do you get on, you know?
it's all right.
You miss him.
I trust in God.
Amen.
But other than that, it'd be really, without all fooling aside, without knowing the Lord and trusting the Lord, be very.
Devastated. Yes.
I know most times he would be cooking for you, so do you miss that a lot?
He wasn't a cook.
But he learned when you got a little capacity.
Yes,
right?
he
Yeah.
started,
So
but
he
he was
started,
never cooking. It wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
Right.
He'd
He
help.
learned after.
That's right.
And he was 104 years old and still going strong until
That's
the
right. Until
last month, right?
that's the Lord said, "This is it."
Well, what type of support system do you have? I mean, now that he's gone, do you have any friends? Do people visit you?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, I know one Marvin Ruff. He's
I've heard that name before.
Marvin Ruff. That's my son. Not only my friend, he's my son. Always willing to help me out, and
And I know you
Don't
have a lot of cats outside, so he's not here to feed the cats now. So How do you go about feeding the cats?
Well, my neighbor, I fix the food,
Mm-hmm.
and my neighbor comes
Okay.
and feeds them, so
Mhm.
and whatnot.
And you have other people that kind of help you out in certain ways.
Yes, yes.
You
yeah.
want to name a couple of them?
There's Richard Washington.
Great guy.
He used to study with Henry. He studied piano, and then there's Leonard Cardigan. He's another one of my sons. But
Brother Lenny.
yeah, Lenny, and yep,
Yvonne.
yes,
Yeah. Joan.
yeah, Yvonne,
Love.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yvonne
You
brings-
have a nice
I haven't cooked since Henry collapsed.
Wow. Really? You mean dinner? You haven't had to
I
cook dinner?
haven't cooked dinner. Up to last night, she brought my fish. I
Mhm.
still have some fish there and whatnot.
Mhm.
I had so much fish, I even shared it with my neighbor.
You know what I find interesting is that he was such a great musician, you know, loved playing his music. I could listen to him play that Beethoven, you know, so much, but you never learned to play the piano.
I studied it.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
I never made no,
So you only
Vi-
studied it?
viola. For one thing, I have a problem with this, with my right hand. And I don't know, this one finger, whatever. So, and if they're not all working, it's
Yeah,
very
it's not
hard.
going to
But
sound,
I did have 3 lessons.
Yeah.
Then when I came to New York again, I used to go to one of the white ladies at church, and so she taught music. I never really
It was
amounted.
just that just wasn't your
It wasn't
If
my,
you had a passion for that like you did to be an operator, you would be
yeah,
probably accomplished
yeah.
musician.
But then he, when I married Henry, I told him one evening, I said, look, it ain't worth it.
What's that?
Teaching me music
Oh, he's wasting his time.
and getting all, because that was his life.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
got all angry. I said, not end this marriage before it's even begin.
Yeah, I know
No,
what you
that-
mean, yeah.
You have your fun. I'll stay with my, if I feel like making something to put, I get a piece of fabric, go down in the basement and make me a dress. If I feel like just going out and buy one.
So you be downstairs sewing while he's up here playing the music, huh? Okay.
One thing I love from the past are those nursery rhymes and gems that we used to learn in school. Like this one I love is speak the truth and speak it ever, cost it what it will. He who knows the truth and hide it does the wrong thing still. And that is one that I love. So tell me some of those gems that you both learned from back then.
You know, the funniest thing, if they come, but it's just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, right. I know what you mean.
when you least expect it, come to your mind, and you find yourself singing the songs, and but just right now,
And something I remember is how, like, you know, I don't think it's good to be wasteful about food or anything. And so, therefore, it's good if people in your house don't necessarily like the same food, or they like different food, but when all things are said and done, all the food is gone, so there was one. Jack Sprat could eat no fat.
that's
My
right.
wife could eat no lean. So
so
between them both, you see,
they
they
make
lick
a
a
platter
platter
clean.
clean, that's
Yeah, I
right.
remember that one too. And talking about learning, did you have a favorite teacher in school?
Yes, I had a couple of them, because they were, I guess, because of my home, my mother not being home, because she went out to work early in the morning and left with my brother and I before my sister came along. And the teachers were very kind,
yeah.
very nice, and they were all nice West Indian men and women, very nice.
I had a teacher in 4th grade. His name was Mr. Mayevsky, and maybe the reason he is at least one of, if not my favorite teacher, is because I knew that he cared about me. You know, he really showed how he cared about me. You know, and that particular year, I got 100 on every single one of my spelling tests.
Wait, I'm not cutting you off, but which school was this teacher?
That was at PS 92 Queens in Corona, Queens. And this one particular spelling test we took, and after the test was over, he would normally mark the papers, give the kids their grades. And so he called me up to his desk and he says, Marvin, spell whatever the word was.
It was
And-
August. I heard that before.
What-
Is it